Remember, don't we, when Meghan Markle decided to appear in that trailer, you know the trailer I'm talking about, for the Netflix docuseries, She wanted to talk about her story, their story. She used the tagline, if you recall, that, well, you've heard it from so many other people. Why not now hear it from the people that have lived it? That was their big selling point, wasn't it? Now, let's not forget that this for Netflix was a big deal. I mean, after all, they paid a lot of money for this, and they'd taken a long time to get that particular story. But what's fascinating when you think about it is, although they paid a lot of money, as we pointed out to you before with that interview with Variety, Meghan herself managed to make sure that she, shall we say, slightly distanced herself from that docu-series, because if you remember, she said, I'm just trusting somebody to put it through their lens. I love that terminology, don't you? Basically, if I don't like it, it's not my fault, it's not us. Basically, we're trusting some other people. You know what it's like. Now, what's interesting here is that Meghan Markle herself, as we've told you before, is going through some very negative, I mean, extremely negative PR. Both she and Harry are polling incredibly badly over in the United States. This is, of course, a situation that's made worse, given the fact that recent polls suggest that the Duke of York, Prince Andrew, could be even more popular than them. And I'm not being derisory or anything like that, but when you think about it, how far have these people fallen? But as you know, Harry and Meghan still have a deal of such with Netflix, and seemingly Netflix, the bosses, are not quite through with rinsing out Meghan Markle yet. But will she agree? And as ever, money talks. Good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to see you. Hope you're all keeping well. Thank you so much for joining me today, as ever. Lovely to have your company. By the way, there was a big sort of compilation recently about the favourite films of all time, and I had 5 in the top 10. And I'd love to know what your favourite films are. Mine that were up there were Some Like It Hot, On the Waterfront. I thought that was a good film. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and Where Eagles Dare. We mentioned Anton Diffrin, didn't we, recently? And they're just great films, aren't they? They're shown every Christmas or these bank holidays, and you come away thinking, wow, you never get bored of them, do you? What are your favourite films? What do you never mind watching time and time again? Is it something like Mary Poppins, The Sound of Music, something more light and fluffy? Or is it a bit like me, a little bit gritty? I just love when Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood are on that cable car and Where Eagles Dare. You kind of think, wow, you feel like you're on top of it with them, don't you? Frightening stuff. Back as ever, though, to your breaking raw story of the day. What's interesting here, as I say, with Meghan Markle, she still has quite a lot of collateral, if you like, with the company Netflix, because as we know, the only thing that they have left now, Harry and Meghan, is this Invictus Games documentary, which is set to come out in early springtime. That's taken over a year for them to get it together. I'm not being cruel, and I wish it all the big success that it should be, but a lot of people won't be as interested in that as, of course, Harry and Meghan's docuseries. Not gossipy enough. But now the bosses at Netflix are very keen to see if Meghan would like now to present her side of her family. Yes, that's right. And this has come from an extremely good source at Netflix. Now, this could be fascinating stuff, because with the ongoing battle with her half-sister Samantha, that could be very difficult to do. But Netflix, as you know, are owed a docu-series from the couple. And more importantly, and as ever, we have to say allegedly, if they want to continue to receive the final remnants of that particular deal, then they're going to have to cough up. Now, this, in their opinion, would be as explosive as, of course, the original Harry and Meghan series. But the bottom line is, it's going to be difficult, isn't it? Because Meghan will have to unpack some truths. And as we've seen before, she doesn't necessarily like to do that. Her family area is incredibly grey. As we've seen, her family area is incredibly grey. Seemingly, she doesn't want to share too much. She was quite happy to talk about Harry's family and exactly how bad they were, but we don't really know her thoughts on her father, her stepbrothers, things like that. We don't really know that much about Doria. Netflix feels that this, having seen Doria in action on their docuseries, and if Meghan was willing to sit down finally and talk, would be the ideal follow-up. Now, you may say she wouldn't do it. But look, Meghan always said before that she didn't want to share pictures of her family. The minute the dollar signs came up, allegedly, there were pictures shared of Lily and Archie throughout that docuseries, including exclusive footage. So what would change this time around? As ever, This is a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.